Back to All Game News, and today we're going to be doing not like a cooking challenge, like cooking. So I'm going to be cooking. We're supposed to do granola bars, but it didn't really work. I'm going to be cooking granola, and then Grandma Becky is going to be cooking scones. So let's get started. Okay, so today I'm going to be making granola bars, and I found it in this cookbook, as you can tell. So, yeah, we're going to make granola bars. So what we obviously have like a pot that we need. We need 3 tablespoons of butter. So we will just put it in this. 3 of them. 2, and then 1 more.
And I'll show you what it should look like. After each step, you move out of the way and I can show what it should look like.
Yes, that's what it should look like. Or, yeah. Okay, and then now let's go on to the next step.
We'll keep this light on and that light.
That would help.
Because that will help us see what's inside of the bowl.
Okay.
So you know what it's about, they can follow along.
Yeah, obviously. So then we need 1/3 cup brown sugar. So
1/3 cup. Then I'll 1/3 cup.
This, obviously.
Show it upside down. Yeah, that's 1/3 cup.
And then
What kind of brown sugar are we using?
light brown sugar.
That's the kind of sugar you use?
I don't know.
What does the recipe call for? Light brown sugar or
It just said brown sugar, but whatever.
Okay. Well, only one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let me make sure I did it right. Yeah. And 1/4 cup of honey.
Okay, so where's the honey?
Right here. So, I forgot to turn the stove on, but I turned the stove
What did
on.
you forget?
To turn the stove on.
So after you put in the brown sugar,
You turn the stove on.
turn the stove on. Right before you do the honey, turn the stove on.
Okay. And then,
So you just fill the whole thing up with honey?
yeah.
Green honey.
But then,
How many do you need?
1, I believe, yeah.
As it pours out where it's slowly.
And then, I need to get, okay, ready?
Okay, nice. What'd you do? What did we miss?
We pouring honey.
So what are you doing now?
Mixing it up.
You gotta explain to the viewers what you're doing now.
So now what I'm doing is I'm mixing it up, but I think we're supposed to turn it on before we put the brown sugar in, but that's whatever. Okay.
Yeah, so
That doesn't matter.
So somewhere in between the first step and this step, or better yet, before you start making it,
You're supposed to turn it on.
turn it on.
Yeah, but I forgot to turn it on.
So you don't forget, when you first start making it,
Turn it on.
turn on the stove.
But I literally forgot that, but like, does that matter really?
Not really. Does it really matter that you,
No.
yeah, you don't have it?
Okay, now that's mixed. Let's see what the next step is.
What is the next step? What number step are we on? Alright, start
We're on
saying with the number. What's that?
1, 4.
What is that 4 saying?
3 cups of oatmeal.
Okay, so what do you have there?
3 cups. I need to. So I guess I'm just gonna shut that off because I don't know. Cause good. So then
So get a spoon. Come here. Put it on this table.
Okay, yeah, I know what to do. Better yet, let me just. Wait, I think I saw a giant spoon in there. Now it's gonna go. It's gonna go through it. But whatever, guys.
Should we come back after we find the giant spoon? Wait, get the ladle.
No, we can just pour it in better yet.
But better yet, you can pour it in.
Yeah.
And then dump it out back in there over here.
If we have too much.
Okay. So what is this?
3 cups. It's like, that's a measuring cup.
It's what if they don't know what a measuring cup is?
So we have like a couple of them. Like this is like.
Guys, turn around by 1 cup.
So this is like giant.
Oh.
Ow.
You good?
Yeah.
Knocking into it. You broke it.
3 cups.
3. That was 1 cup.
No, it's just 3. I guess that's 3 cups.
Yeah. Okay, now dump it into your mixture.
We dump it in the mixture.
Well, how, you're putting in for how much recipe? How much of the recipe?
Whatever it like said.
Well, how many? Like in the last cooking show, Grandma Becky.
Well, I mean, you could
In
double.
the last cooking segment, Grandma Becky was saying what to do if you want to double the recipe. What if you want to double the recipe?
If you double the recipe, whatever I said, just double it.
Okay.
And then,
You're the
well,
cook.
we're not there yet. So then we gotta get it all coated.
All of the honey and stuff coated with the oatmeal.
All the oatmeal coated with the honey and stuff. But like, this is like so quick to make.
And then what should we do after this?
Then what we should do is,
Freeze it.
no, not yet. We're not there yet.
Okay, we're in step 5.
Or 4 or something like that.
Well, I'm 5.
Yeah.
As your cookbook's all dirty.
Well, whatever.
You're gonna clean it, right?
Okay, now that's mixed up. It says add 1/4 cup chocolate chips.
Where are you reading this? Here?
Yeah.
That's what you need.
I'm doing it all wrong?
Yeah.
Why am I supposed to read it off then? I'm doing it wrong. Wait, am I doing it? No, I'm not doing it wrong. Am I doing it wrong?
Okay, did you do it wrong?
No.
You never did it wrong?
No.
So what'd you figure out?
So, yeah. So then, what you're supposed to do is, you're supposed to like, it's like wax paper or parchment paper. You're supposed to put on like a pan.
Oh, that mixture you just made?
Yeah, and then you're supposed to flatten it out, and then what I figured out is you're not supposed to put the chocolate chips in first. You're supposed to put in after.
After you
Not free. No. After you like.
put it in the paper.
After you put it in the pan.
And now, who wanted us to make these?
Tom talking is fun.
He wanted for his workout.
Yeah, he always wants like every day, for whatever reason. That might be.
So that's your favorite recipe to make? Remember we asked what your favorite recipe was?
Oh yeah.
Oh no, actually I asked you what your favorite recipe was. So, is it your favorite recipe?
I mean, I don't know because I do.
Alright, what's your most made recipe if you want to do that?
Most made recipe that I ever made ever.
Yeah.
Did I just have to do baking or anything?
They just keep on remaking, okay? Just keep on remaking. You want to make a lot. Granola bars?
Yes.
That's when you make the most?
No, but I don't know honestly. I mean, that's flat enough.
Okay, it's good.
And then,
Is that a blend?
well, first I have to open the chocolate chip.
Chocolate chips?
Yeah, I gotta open it.
Okay, open it.
And then you can honestly just put how many you want, like,
What if you put one in the center?
that could work too. But we're not gonna do that. You just,
Make a pattern with it. Make a pattern with it.
no, I'm just gonna go all the way across.
Well, why don't you just do this? Just grab them and just double punch them in there. Yeah, like that. Oh, there goes the toaster oven.
Well, I'll get that after.
We'll worry about that after. That was almost ready.
Yeah, that was our lunch. Now, then, you're supposed to put it in the freezer for like a couple minutes.
How many minutes?
For, I don't know.
Well, where did it say that?
About 1 hour.
Okay, about 1 hour. So, put it away in there.
Okay. What? Yeah.
In there. And then we'll come back in an hour when it's finished. Alright?
Yeah, does it really take an hour to make?
Yes, okay.
I don't ever remember it taking an hour.
We'll be back in an hour when it's finished. Or when it's finished.
Yeah, whatever. Back, so now we're gonna cut them.
Okay, so how long do we wait?
We waited about like an hour for them.
Yes, we are.
So we waited about an hour.
Okay, now. Everything.
Cutting them. So I don't know how I'm supposed to cut them, how long.
As long as you want.
Okay.
Cut them how you want. And now what you do after you cut?
Then you eat them.
Explain.
So then after you cut, you eat them.
So this is all after you done means in sports.
We're
We'll
gonna
be
taste
trying.
them. So do you want to come back when we're done cutting?
Time lapse cutting.
Okay, so we have different sports. It's like really here, and I make granola bars, but they kind of got like all crumbly for some reason.
Why didn't they get crumbly? No eating yet.
I'm
not eating.
I don't know why they got all crumbly, but just try 'em.
No. What did you forget in there?
Oh, there's that one ingredient that
Vanilla extract.
we don't have any, but we think that's why. But that's gonna make a difference.
So you should fit in vanilla extract somewhere into the recipe
Yeah.
to make it like bars.
Okay, try it.
Not so we make granola, not granola bars.
Yeah, but we try to make granola bars.
So in the title it'll say, well, we originally said granola bars, but in the title it will say
Granola.
granola.
Like if you try with some yogurt, it will probably taste good and everything.
So
how do you think yours was? 1 to 10. You gotta give your opinion. 10. So Curly, what do you think? 1 or 10? 1 through 10. Like 3, 2, whatever. What do you think?
8.
8. Okay. Is that it?
Because it's not in bars.
Well, yeah. Whatever.
Well, that doesn't matter. It's a taste.
Yeah, but
Like if I was judging them on a cake and it didn't look good, I just want it to taste good.
yeah, because that's supposed to be a heart and you ended up making a circle.
Well, I'm eating granola bars right now and they're not bars.
Well,
So maybe next time you should get up and do something.
I did, I filmed.
well, whatever. So, yeah.
So to grab Becky making some scones.
Hi everybody, it's Grandma Becky here to do another cooking demonstration in competition with my granddaughter Alexis, who is a rising good chef and really likes to bake. So today what I'm going to make are some scones. Scones were typically English and Irish food. The Americans have taken them on as something that they like to cook. In England, they're a little plainer, but in the United States, we add things. So today, I'm going to put cranberries and pistachios in mine. So this isn't a very difficult thing to make. You just need flour, sugar, baking powder, salt, and some butter, and then whatever else you want to add on. So I'm going to measure up the flour. We need 2½ cups. I'm going to put it here in my mixing bowl. That's 1. Let me tilt the camera down a little bit so you can see better. And here we'll put in our 2nd cup. And then another ½ cup. Once I do that, I'm going to put in some baking powder. I need a tablespoon, which is kind of a lot, but you've got to make it have enough so that the flour rises and you don't have kind of a flattened out pastry. And then a ½ teaspoon of salt. So sometimes people don't like to put salt in when they're baking, but it sort of helps with the chemical reaction of whatever it is that you're cooking. And then I'm going to put in a ½ cup of butter. And to cut the butter up, I'm going to use this little device. In fact, I just bought a new one because my old one was kind of bent. And or you can just use 2 forks, and so you can just start mixing. The only difficult thing about working with butter is that it can be kind of hard, So you might want to let it sit out a little bit to soften up. You can put it in the microwave for a really short time, but sometimes it gets too soft then. So you're just kind of twisting the bowl around and working the butter into the dough. I'm going to take a knife, or you could use a spatula to scrape the butter off and put it back in the bowl. So once I start getting this mixed, then I'm going to mix in, we need a 1/2 cup of sugar. Everything tastes better with sugar, right kids? One of these days we're going to get my other granddaughter who likes to cook, Katie, and see if she won't do some cooking demonstration with us. She's not really fond of being on camera, but I think we can convince her because she's a really good cook too, and she loves to bake. Oh, one thing I forgot to do, and I'm going to go do it now, is preheat the oven. Whenever you bake anything, you need to get the oven heated up first. You don't want to put things in till it's been heated, because if you do, it'll start cooking too fast, maybe on the edges and not in the middle. So, all right. So this looks pretty good. See, there's no big lumps of flour in there. So next, now if I wasn't on camera, I'd probably be eating some of the dough. It's one of my bad habits that I've had since childhood. All right, so I'm gonna put in about 1/4 cup of craisins and 1/4 cup of pistachios, because it says you can put in about a half a cup of additions, they call them. Okay, and I'll put in the pecans. Oh, did I say pistachios? I think I was going to do pistachios and I changed my mind. I'm doing pecans. You know, Grandma's a little woo-woo. She forgets things. All right, and then the last thing that we're going to mix in is some milk. And when we get the dough all mixed in nicely, we're going to knead the dough out on the counter. So I'm going to throw some flour out here. And I'm going to get the milk and put it in, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. So now we need to add in 2/3 cup of milk. So I'm going to use a fork for this, and you don't want to overmix ingredients when you're baking, because if you do, if you're making a cake or cookies, or in this case the scones, it might make them a little bit too tough and too chewy. So I've got everything mixed together. Just trying to get everything kind of moist, because we're going to turn it out onto this floured surface and knead it a bit. All right, let me get a spatula so I can scrape this out. Hopefully everybody can see. So I'm going to knead it 10 to 12 times. So when you knead things, you're just sort of mushing. I guess that's a scientific term, right? And you turn it, and then you just keep trying to gather it up into a ball. All right? So now what I'm going to do is cut this in half. And make 2 different balls out of it. This is really dry today, so hopefully these will turn out. And then I'm going to cut them into triangles, each ball into triangles, and put them on a cookie sheet. And on the cookie sheet, I've placed a sheet of parchment paper, and the parchment paper is used in baking, and it keeps things from sticking to the cookie sheet and from burning. So it says to pat or roll the dough into a 6-inch circle. That looks about 6 inches, and then cut each into 6 to 8 different wedges. So I got one right here. Hopefully they're not going to fall apart before I get them on the cookie sheet. So you can see I'm putting it right here on the cookie sheet. And when I do that, I'm not going to put them too close together because when they bake, they rise. So we're gonna have a short break here while I finish the rest of these, and then before I put them in the oven, I'll come back and show you what I've done. Hi, I'm back. As you can see, I've filled up my cookie sheet with the scones. I've tried to put them sort of an equal distance apart so they don't start spreading into each other. When you keep them close together, it makes the scones softer. If you want them really crisp, I could have used 2 cookie sheets and spread them out more, and that makes them crisper. So I'm going to put them in the oven. It's preheated at 425. It says to cook for 12 minutes. After about 6 minutes, I'm going to turn the cookie sheet around so that it cooks equally. So I will come back in about 12 minutes when the timer tells me that the scones are done. See you then. Well, I'm back. The timer is about to beep, just like everything else in this kitchen, and we're going to see how our scones look. So stay tuned. Okay. They look pretty yummy. And the taste test will be when Grandpa Jim tries them out. So we gotta let them cool a little bit, and then we'll come back for our taste test. See you then.
It's Jim here. I've got a scone here that was made by Grandma Sattel, and there's several things that you look for in a scone. One would be the overall texture. You'd also look at the thickness of the crust, and also you want the in this case she used craisins, which is fine. In fact, craisins are probably the best because they give both a sweet and kind of a both sweet and sour at the same time. And so that was a good pick. So as I look at this, the first thing I'd like to look at is the texture, the overall texture. And as I was saying, it's got a nice crust and plenty of craisins, you can see. What I don't particularly like is it's not as you would like to see it, it's more of a triangle. The other thing that's missing as far as the texture goes is it should be a glaze. It should be somewhat of a glaze. And here, I really don't see any glaze at all, actually. So, but anyhow, I give it on a, as far as looks go, I'd give it, it's not good. I'd say it's about a 1 out of 5. So once again, you got to look at the shape, you got to look at the texture, you got to look at the glaze. So yeah, I'd give this, 1 out of 5 is pretty tough. I think I'd probably give this a 2 out of 5. Now the next thing we'll look at is how it breaks down in a fork. Now you can look at it 2 ways. In America, people will tend to eat it like this, but in Europe, they're more delicate, so they'll tend to eat it with a fork. So when we look at that, and one of the things we want to see is how does it break down? And it should be soft enough so that it cuts right through. So as you notice there, when I cut through, the whole thing rocked around, and it's pretty rough to cut through. So as far as softness, I'd say I'd give it a 0 out of 5. Now we get into actual taste, and we can look forward to having, it should be soft, it should have a bit of a, should be soft, it should give sort of a, well, here we go. Now that's good. That's very good. It's soft, it kind of melts in your mouth, and at the same time, the craisins release a really nice taste. Also, some people really overdo the sugar, but this is just perfect from the standpoint of the sugar. Now, the other thing we'll look at is how well it stays together if, in fact, in America, you use your fingers. And it, as you can see, it's not too crumbly. It's very good. Very good. So, as far as tastes good, I give it a 5 out of 5. So, overall, I'd say when you cut down through it, when all said and done, the most important thing is taste. So really, with taste, you increase the number of possible points to 15. So I give this a 15 out of 15. So I give us a total of 17 points, which is really a B+ scone. So that's very good. That's very good. Thank you, and this is Artist Jim, and you know I love these taste tests, so I look forward to seeing you again. Bye-bye.
Like, subscribe, turn on both notifications, and come back Thursday and Friday at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time to see all our new videos.